The rain was coming down in sheets as I sat in my car, parked across the street from the Golden Spoon, a local ice cream parlor. It was after 11 p.m., and the neon sign flickered intermittently, casting long, distorted shadows on the wet pavement. I should have been home, asleep, preparing for another day at the architectural firm where I worked. Instead, I was here, a reluctant private investigator in my own life, watching my wife, Meredith. For weeks, a knot of unease had been tightening in my gut. Meredith, usually so warm and affectionate, had become distant, preoccupied. Her explanations for late nights at the law firm where she was a partner were vague, her eyes avoiding mine. Id initially dismissed it as stress. The legal world could be brutal. But the little things kept piling up: a lingering floral scent that wasn't her usual perfume, a hurried phone call that ended abruptly when I entered the room, a new scarf I hadn't seen before tucked away in her closet. I hate this. I really do, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. So, against my better judgment, Id started snooping. A quick glance at her phone while she was in the shower revealed a string of text messages with a number I didn't recognize. The messages were innocuous enough: thinking of you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, but they were enough to confirm my worst fears. That's how I ended up here, staking out an ice cream parlor on a rainy Tuesday night. Id traced the phone number to a man named Jasper, and tonight Meredith had told me she was working late. My heart hammered in my chest as I saw her car pull into the parking lot. She got out, looking stunning in a red dress that Id never seen before. A moment later, Jasper arrived. He was tall, athletic, with a confident swagger that screamed arrogance. They met by the entrance, and I watched, my stomach churning as they embraced. It wasn't a friendly hug. It was a passionate, lingering embrace that confirmed everything. They went inside, and I sat there, paralyzed, the rain drumming against the roof of my car like a mournful dirge. I took a deep breath and forced myself to focus. I needed to know. I needed to see. I got out of the car and walked across the street, the rain soaking me to the bone. I peered through the window. Meredith and Jasper were sitting at a small table, laughing, their faces close together. They looked happy, happier than I'd seen Meredith in months. The sight was like a punch to the gut. I wanted to burst in there, confront them, demand answers, but I knew that wouldn't accomplish anything. I needed to stay calm, to gather information. I went back to my car and waited. An hour later, they emerged holding hands. They walked to Jasper's car and he opened the door for her. Before she got in, they kissed. A long, lingering kiss that sealed my fate. I drove home in a daze, the rain blurring the streetlights. The anger was building inside me, a slow, burning rage that threatened to consume me. How could she do this? How could she betray me like this? We had been together for 15 years, married for 10. We had built a life together, a home, a future. And now it was all crumbling around me. I walked into the house, dripping wet, and went straight to the liquor cabinet. I poured myself a generous glass of whiskey and downed it in one gulp. It burned going down, but it did little to ease the pain in my heart. I sat down on the couch, staring blankly at the television, but I didn't see anything. My mind was racing, replaying the scene at the ice cream parlor over and over again. I didn't sleep that night. I spent the hours pacing the floor, wrestling with my emotions. I was angry, hurt, confused, and utterly heartbroken. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to confront Meredith. I didn't know how to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. When Meredith finally came home the next morning, she looked tired but strangely radiant. She walked in, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "Morning, darling. Long night at the office." I stared at her, my heart pounding in my chest. I wanted to scream, to shout, to accuse her of everything, but I held my tongue. I needed to be smart about this. "Yeah, me too," I said, my voice betraying none of the turmoil inside. "Big project deadline." She smiled, oblivious. "Well, I'm going to take a shower and then grab some breakfast. I'm starving." As she walked away, I knew I couldn't keep this inside any longer. I had to confront her, but I needed to be prepared. I needed to have a plan. I spent the next few days gathering evidence. I hired a private investigator, someone who could do the job without the emotional baggage. He provided me with photos, emails, and phone records that painted a clear picture of Meredith's affair. It had been going on for 6 months. 6 months of lies, deceit, and betrayal. Jasper, it turned out, was a partner at Meredith's law firm. He was married, too, with 2 young children. The investigator also uncovered some disturbing information about Jasper's past: a history of affairs, a reputation for being a ruthless climber, and a trail of broken hearts. The more I learned, the angrier I became. I wasn't just angry at Meredith. I was angry at Jasper, at myself, at the entire situation. I felt like I had been living a lie, that everything I thought I knew about my life was a fabrication. Finally, the day came when I was ready to confront Meredith. I waited for her to come home from work, my heart pounding in my chest. When she walked in, I was sitting in the living room, a file folder on the coffee table in front of me. "We need to talk," I said, my voice cold and hard. Meredith looked at me, her brow furrowed. "What's this about?" "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the couch. She hesitated, then sat down, her eyes fixed on the file folder. "What is that?" "It's the truth, Meredith," I said. "The truth about you and Jasper." Her face paled. "I don't know what you're talking about." I opened the file folder and pulled out the photos. Pictures of Meredith and Jasper holding hands, kissing, entering his apartment. I laid them out on the coffee table one by one. She stared at them, her eyes wide with shock and disbelief. "Where did you get these?" she whispered. "It doesn't matter," I said. "What matters is that they're real. You've been having an affair with Jasper for 6 months." She started to cry. "It's not what you think," she said, her voice trembling. "Oh, really? Then what is it, Meredith? Tell me. I'm all ears," she stammered, trying to come up with an explanation, but the words wouldn't come. Finally, she broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I don't know what to say. Sorry, is that all you have to say? You've been lying to me for months, betraying my trust, and all you can say is sorry. I never meant to hurt you," she said. "It just happened. It just happened." "You think that excuses your behavior? You think that makes it okay?" "No," she said. "I know it's not okay. I've been so confused. I don't know what I want anymore. You don't know what you want. You're married, Meredith. You made a commitment to me. You vowed to be faithful, to love and cherish me. And you threw it all away for a cheap affair." "I know," she said. "I've been so stupid." "Stupid doesn't even begin to describe it," I said. "You've destroyed our marriage, Meredith. You've destroyed our life." She looked at me, her eyes filled with tears. "Is there any way we can fix this?" she asked. I shook my head. "No," I said. "It's over. I can't forgive you for this. I can't trust you anymore." I stood up and walked away, leaving her there sobbing on the couch. I went to the bedroom and started packing my bags. I was leaving. I couldn't stay in that house, not anymore. It was tainted, poisoned by her betrayal. The next few months were a blur. I moved into a small apartment, filed for divorce, and tried to rebuild my life. It wasn't easy. The pain was still there, a constant ache in my heart. But I was determined to move on, to find happiness again. The divorce was messy. Meredith fought me on everything, trying to get as much as she could. But I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to be free of her. Eventually, we reached a settlement. She got the house, the car, and a substantial amount of alimony. I walked away with nothing but my freedom and my dignity. But the story doesn't end there. A few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call from Jasper's wife, Gwyneth. She had found out about the affair and had left him. She was devastated, heartbroken, and alone. We met for coffee, and I listened as she told me her story. It was eerily similar to mine. Jasper had charmed her, seduced her, and then discarded her when he was done. She felt used, betrayed, and utterly worthless. As we talked, I realized that we had something in common. We had both been victims of Jasper's deceit. We had both been hurt by Meredith's betrayal. And we both needed someone to talk to, someone who understood what we were going through. We started meeting regularly, sharing our stories, offering each other support. Slowly, we began to heal. We learned to forgive ourselves, to let go of the anger and resentment, and to move on with our lives. And then something unexpected happened. We fell in love. Gwyneth was kind, compassionate, and beautiful. She understood me in a way that Meredith never had. We shared a connection that was deep and meaningful. We started dating, and soon we were inseparable. We laughed, we cried, we shared our hopes and dreams. We built a new life together, a life based on honesty, trust, and love. A year later, we got married. It was a small, intimate ceremony, surrounded by our closest friends and family. As I stood at the altar, watching Gwyneth walk towards me, I knew that I had found my soulmate. I had found happiness again after the heartbreak and betrayal. But Meredith and Jasper, Their affair didn't last. Jasper, true to form, moved on to another woman within months, leaving Meredith heartbroken and alone. The law firm suffered due to Jasper's reputation, and both their careers took a hit. Karma, it seemed, had a way of balancing the scales. Looking back, I realized that Meredith's betrayal, as painful as it was, had ultimately led me to a better place. It had forced me to confront my own weaknesses, to let go of the past, and to embrace the future. It had led me to Gwyneth, the woman who truly loved me for who I was, and for that I was grateful. Life has a funny way of working out, doesn't it?